top down get up. So you're gonna see, I'm gonna cycle all the way down and then all the way back up. Now, the cool part about this move is the way down looks exactly the same as the way up. So if you were to put yourself in reverse when you filmed yourself, you look exactly the same, okay? But there's reason for every step, okay? So we're gonna start on the right side first here, okay? So just follow along. You might be a little confused at the beginning, but you'll get the hang of it as we go through, okay? Because we're gonna end up doing 3 reps, okay? And we're just gonna stick on this move going right and left. All right, so what you're gonna do is I want you to raise that right arm in the air, elbow lock. Now that elbow lock at all times is gonna be really important, okay? All you're gonna do is you're gonna tap that left leg. Now, if you have a mat like I'm using, you should do this to protect your knee. I'm gonna step all the way over the mat and come down. My knee comes down to the ground. So I'm in this lunge position, still locked in that elbow. Now, all I'm gonna do is my leg is gonna act like a windshield wiper. So I'm gonna windshield wiper it in to the inside, okay? So it's just like a windshield wiper there. Now from here, I'm gonna tap my left leg and keeping it in alignment with my leg there, my hand, and my hips are gonna go out, my hand's gonna reach away. And I'm looking up at that hand. You're probably watching me, but keep that elbow locked. Eventually you're gonna wanna look up at it, okay? Now I have space between my leg and my hand there that's on the earth, okay? That's gonna allow me to sweep it through. So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sweep that left leg through on an angle, so to the side, not straight out. That left elbow is locked and my hips lower down to the earth, okay? Now really do a quick check-in. Is that left elbow locked? Is that right elbow locked, okay? Now from here, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kickstand, so come down to my elbow, okay? Now, really important, make sure there's space between your shoulder and your elbow there, okay? Don't just cave in. You don't wanna be droopy in that, okay? So there's space there between your elbow and your shoulder. Now from here, I'm gonna push away from my hand, use my abs, and control my back all the way to the earth, okay? You just made it all the way down. Now we're gonna come up the same exact way. So you're gonna use the power in your right foot here, drive it into that left elbow. I'm gonna reach that hand straight to the sky, but it's like a roll up into this. So if you've done elbow rolls, this will be familiar. So you roll up, okay? Space between your shoulder and your elbow. Now from your hand here, you wanna push away from your hand. Now take that hand and turn it backwards, okay? Make sure that shoulder's opened up. Now from here, I'm going to sweep through. So I bring my hips up and sweep my knee through. I'm in that same exact position. So I check my alignment. Yep, it looks pretty much the same. Now from here, my hips out, I'm gonna come up. Now from here, I'm gonna rotate, windshield wiper that leg. If you need to adjust that front foot, that's fine. And then just come to stand, okay? If that's your first time, you just did your first get up on the right side. Nice job, all right? So we're gonna do the same thing on the left side, okay? So it's gonna be the same exact stages, just with the left side, all right? There's gonna be reason and thought for everything, okay? There's the reason why your body is supposed to be in the right position every time. So take your time. This is a move that's not supposed to be fast. It's like a perfect marriage between yoga and strength training, okay? And that's what I love about this move so much, because you have to be very methodical with it, but eventually when we start putting weight over our head, you can get it pretty heavy and you really get a lot out of this, all right? So let's bring that left arm in the air. You're gonna lock it into place. I want you to tap that right leg. You're gonna step all the way over your mat and lower it down, okay? Now from here, I want you to windshield that right leg in, okay? Now from here, tap that right leg, go directly to the side, sticking your hips out, okay? You can check in with yourself. You have time here to make sure that you're far enough away from your leg, because that's gonna create the space to clear it through, bring that hip through, leg goes in an angle. Now make sure that right elbow's locked, all right? You're not caving. Now from here, I'm gonna lower it down to my elbow, okay? I have space between my shoulder and elbow. I'm open there. And then from here, using the power in my abs, I'm gonna push away from the elbow and control it all the way down, so I'm flat on the earth, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my left heel and drive it into my right elbow. So I'm gonna drive up, reach up, and I have space between that shoulder and elbow. Taking your hand, I'm gonna push away from the hand, and I just spun that hand backwards. Now I'm gonna sweep it on through. That knee hits the earth parallel or in alignment with my hand there. I just checked it, perfect. Now from here, I'm in that windmill hinge. I come up, nice and tight in the stomach. Now, don't windshield wiper yet. Make sure you don't combine that stage, it's very common. Windshield wiper now, you need to adjust that left foot, fine, and then you come to stand, okay? That's the get up right, get up left. So if you want to advance this a little bit, if that was hard, just keep doing it. That was called a naked get up. I know what you're thinking. You don't have to take your clothes off to do that one, all right? Keep them on, but it just means that you're doing it without weight, all right? So the next one's gonna be more about balance and mechanics. So look at this beautiful little off-the-wall checkerboard slip-on right here. Thanks for that, camera person. All right, so this, I really like this because it's a flat sole here, okay? So that makes it a lot easier to balance. All right, so if you have a flat shoe, I want you to grab that now. Now, the point of this is to make sure you have the balance, but The only way it's gonna fall is if this arm moves. So if I'm up here overhead, think about it, as soon as I move forward, it's going down, okay? So you gotta keep it directly overhead. This is gonna also show you if you have a good overhead lockout position. All right, so I'm gonna set up the same way. We're gonna start at that right side. So I'm gonna line it up. I'm gonna press that right side overhead. I'm straight overhead. Now from here, I have a nice balance. If that shoe's not balanced, just fix it, okay? Now from here, I'm gonna tap the leg that's stepping back. So that's gonna be the left leg. I'm gonna step it back over my mat and I control it down. Now from here, I'm gonna windshield wiper that left foot inside. Now I'm gonna tap the left leg and go directly to the side from it, creating space, looking up at my hands. You're probably watching me, but if you can, look up at your shoe. Now from here, I'm gonna sweep it on through and I have space between my shoulder and elbow. Now from here, space to your elbow here, you have space between that so you're not caving in that shoulder. Now using your abs, I'm gonna push away, keeping that directly overhead, okay? Now you're gonna come up the same way. A lot of times this is where people run into trouble. It's this cross-lateral connection in your stomach to be able to push in. So you really wanna drive that right heel into that left elbow. So watch, I'm gonna drive it up, shoe goes straight up, okay? Now from here, I'm gonna push away from that left hand, keeping that shoulder open, and I just rotated that hand backwards. Now I'm gonna sweep that leg through. Okay, I'm checking, is it lined up? Yep, good alignment there. Now I'm gonna come to that windmill hinge, I come up, okay? Now I'm gonna windshield wiper here, okay? I'm gonna just adjust that foot to make sure it's there. I'm gonna come step to that overhead lunge. Good. All right, so if you did it with the shoe, good job. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side, okay? Now, if at any point the shoe falls, no big deal, just pick up from where you left off, okay? I'm not moving so fast for this, so take your time, all right? So I'm gonna put it on this side. I'm gonna press it straight overhead, okay? Now from here, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tap that right leg. I'm gonna let it come down, so I control that. Now from here, I'm gonna windshield that right leg in. Now I'm gonna tap my right leg, reach away, hips go out. Okay. Now from here, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sweep it through. Take your time. My hips come to the earth. Now make sure that right elbow is locked. Shoulders open. Now from here, I'm gonna lower down to that right elbow. I have space. Now, using my abs, I'm gonna control it down and come all the way to the earth, okay? Now, from here, I'm gonna take that left heel and drive it into my right hand. So drive it up and reach straight up, okay? So you have extension of that hand. Hand on the ground, you're gonna push away, and then you can spin that hand backwards. All right, now from here, you're going to sweep it on through, okay? And then you're gonna come up from that windmill, looking forward here, okay? So I should be forward. Now, I'm gonna windshield wiper that leg, step that foot in, and then I come to stand. Nice. So guys, you did it on both sides. You just did your first shoe getup, all right? So this last version here I'm gonna show you with weight. So you have kettlebells, dumbbells, great. I prefer kettlebells on this one, especially if you know how to overhead press with them, okay? But the little weight here, I would definitely recommend starting light here, just because if you start too heavy, this is gonna go a little crazy and you might smash your face, okay? I don't wanna see you do that, all right? So on this last one here, if you are using weight, be very careful. And for weight too, you just wanna take even more time likely. So I am in no way, shape, or form going to rush you through this, okay? So I'm gonna bring this bell up. I'm gonna be tight in my stomach. I'm gonna press it overhead, okay? So I'm here. Now look, I'm gonna tap the leg that's stepping back, okay? So I'm gonna step over my mat, control it down, okay? Now I'm gonna windshield wiper that leg in. I'm gonna tap the leg, go directly to the side, okay? Now from here, I'm going to sweep it on through. I'm there. Now my right elbow's locked. I'm gonna lower to my elbow and then push away from that elbow nice and tight, okay? Now from here, I wanna be powerful. So this is the hardest stage for a lot of people. I take my left heel and drive it into my right elbow and I drive that bell straight up, okay? Hand on the earth, push away from your hand. I'm gonna spin it backwards. Now from here, I'm gonna sweep it on through. I'm in that windmill and I'm gonna come up nice and tight in the stomach there. And then I'm going to windshield wiper and then come to stand, okay? So if you just did that, you just did your first getup with weight if you're using weight, or with a shoe, or with body weight, okay? So the other side, same thing. So a few things to be conscious of. Make sure you're in control. The number one place where people usually combine stages here is when they're overhead, they come here and then they try to move it with it. You're gonna lose your balance, especially if you have weight. You can't do that with weight, okay? So I'm gonna go to the right side. I don't know which side I started or finished on, but I'm on the right side now. I'm gonna press it overhead, okay? Now from here, I'm gonna tap the left leg back. That's the one I'm stepping back. Now I control it down. I'm gonna windshield wiper that leg in. My hips are gonna go out as I'm gonna reach away from my foot. I'm looking up at that bell. Now from here, I'm going to sweep it on through, hips to the earth, elbows locked. Now left elbow down, okay? And I'm gonna push away using my abs and come all the way to the earth, okay? Now powerful from your right heel to your left elbow, reach that bell straight up or weight or shoe, okay? Now push away from your hand, spin it backwards, okay? Now from here, I'm gonna sweep it on through. I'm doing a check it, yep, I'm in a good position there. Hip's gonna go out, I'm gonna come up, okay? Now from here, now I'm going to windshield wiper, step it in, and then come all the way to stand. Good. So guys, you might have just done your first Turkish get-up in your life, okay? That's the real deal right there. It's a great move. You might be asking, why? Why are we doing this one? Well, if you can do this one, this can transfer over to a lot of other aspects of your fitness, okay? Because it really is a combination of mobility, overhead strength. So you're holding that bell the entire time overhead. But as far as the core strength goes in the stability and cycling all the way down and all the way up, you might have felt some different muscles working that you've maybe never felt before, okay? Because it really involves all your body weight. And I always say this, if you want to know what part of your body gets stronger in the get up, it's that part. You know, that part right there, into that whole, it's the whole thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All right.